Lynchburg Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, November 13th, 2025. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes from our October 8th, 2025 meeting. Are there any additions, corrections? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
10:28.
Second.
A second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All righty. The next order of business is the following new business, where we will hear the petition of Grit Land Company LLC to amend the future land use map from a low-density residential to employment 2 and to rezone approximately 267 thousandths of an acre located at 286 Rockwell Road from B3 Community Business District to B5C General Business District, with conditions to allow for the use of property as an advertising location for a shed business.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of Planning Commission, as the chair said, the purpose of this petition is to allow the use of the property as an advertising location for a shed business at 286 Rockwell Road. Our city's comprehensive plan, future land use map, recommends low-density residential use for the property. These areas are typically dominated by single-family detached housing, and the petition proposes to amend the future land use map, or FLUME, to employment 2. These areas include light and heavy manufacturing, research and development, flex space, and larger scale office uses. Employment 2 differs from employment 1 in that it permits heavy industrial uses. The subject properties were annexed into the city in 1976. The existing B3 Community Business District zoning was established in 1978. The property is approximately 267 thousandths of an acre, so there are no permanent improvements located or proposed here at this time. The site currently has prefabricated sheds and signage for a shed business, which is located in Campbell County. The property is currently in violation of the city's zoning ordinance. The zoning administrator has determined that the use of the property as such would be classified under the lumberyard and building materials category in our zoning ordinance. This use is not permitted in the current B3 district. The property owner was cited with a notice of violation and proposes to rezone the property to resolve this violation. The shed business currently using the site for advertising is located approximately 10 miles away on Timberlake Road. Per the city's sign ordinance, only signs pertaining to the uses conducted on the premises are to be permitted. The proposed use would essentially function as off-site advertising since no operations are taking place on the site. The property is bound to the north by single-family homes across Rockwell Road, to the east by a billboard and single household homes across Tyriana Road, to the west by a church, and to the south by US 460. While the use of the property as an advertising location for a shed business would be relatively low impact when compared to some other commercial uses, there are additional uses that would be allowed by the proposed rezoning, and per city code when making decisions on rezonings, we should consider the entire range of uses that would be allowed by the proposed zoning district. The submitted proffer prohibits some of the uses that would be considered more unfavorable when located next to single-family residences, such as those listed here: tattoo parlor, pawn shop, short-term loans, rooming house. But uses such as auto sales, lumber yards, heavy equipment storage would be permitted. Even if the property is too small to support some of those uses, approval of the rezoning to allow the use of this property as an advertising location for one of those B5 uses would allow it to be used as an advertising location for other B5 uses. So if sheds can be displayed here for advertising visibility, the same could be said for displaying automobiles for sale or displaying heavy equipment for rent, etc. The proposed FLUME amendment to employment 2 would align more closely with the proposed B5C General Business District than the current low-density residential designation. However, since employment 2 areas are meant to be primarily industrial, the FLUME designation could be more detrimental to the nearby residential neighborhood. Although the property is small, approval of the petition could set precedents for more intense industrial and commercial uses in the area. The proposed B5 district would be more typically aligned with community commercial areas on our FLUME. The Tyriana and Pleasant Valley Neighborhood Plan was adopted in 2022 and identifies US 460 as a city gateway, meaning it is a major entry point into Lynchburg. The neighborhood plan and the comprehensive plan both include goals of building strong neighborhoods and enhancing the attractiveness of gateways and travel corridors. The comprehensive plan also notes that visual qualities and entry experience at each gateway should be considered. The proposed use and other potential B5 uses may impede those goals. Our technical review committee reviewed this petition on September 30th, 2025. The Planning Division recommends denial of the petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who's here to speak on behalf of this petition? If you would please come forward, state your name, and there's a place for you to sign in there. Tell us a little bit more about this.
My name's Robert Wallace with Grit Land Company, and basically I'm asking to rezone this from B3 to B5. We purchased this property last November, and when we're looking over the code, in B3 it allows for storage, building, manufacturing. So we were under the impression that we were within the code to have storage buildings here on the property. But after we did the survey, we leased it to this storage building company. Then that's when the city reached out and said you had to be into B5. So then we decided to rezone it to this, or attempt to rezone it to B5. We did the rezoning with the Flume amendment primarily because this parcel has everything that you would normally have in a commercial parcel, with it being next to 460. I feel like Route 460 is a major commercial corridor. You've got 40,000 vehicles a day going by there. Right past here, you've got truck body company, which is industrial. You've got the airport right on the other side of Campbell Avenue. You've got all that industrial. So 460 is a commercial corridor anyway, and rezoning this to residential, the property line is about 30 feet off of Route 460. So if you ever live near 460 or a road like that, it's extremely noisy. And I'm not sure that anybody would want to build a house there, primarily for the noise aspect, but also, anytime we mow the grass there, we pick up litter. It's very trashy. We try to keep the property clean. And it's also, you got lights coming through there, sirens coming through there. So I'm not sure that would be the right spot for more residential when it's already B3 commercial as it is. As far as the business goes, there's no, it's not staffed. The main location is over on Timberlake Road, like Rachel said. If anyone wants to purchase a shed, they cannot do so here on the premises. They have to go to the office, the staff location on Timberlake Road. This is just for visibility purposes because this local business is trying to get out there for more on this side of town and let people know that they're in business. There's not any, the same 6 shed buildings have been there since they started leasing it. So there's not people coming in and out, moving sheds around or anything like that. Same 6 sheds have been there the whole time. So it's the most low-density commercial use possible you don't have any permanent buildings, you don't have any staff, you don't have any lights, you don't have any vehicles coming in and out. To me, it's the perfect low-density use to be next to any type of residential because of all those factors. But, as far as the Flume amendment, I was looking at there are other commercial areas inside of this Terriana neighborhood, and those are, there's a couple commercial buildings that are residential, and the Flume has those going to commercial. So, I don't think it would be out of line with anything that is already existing there, especially with this being directly owned 460. And the other thing is the biggest thing is, if this was a 5-acre lot, I could see the issue with rezoning it to a B5. You might have some other businesses going in there. But not only is this a 1/4-acre lot, the usable square footage is much, much less than a 1/4 of an acre when you're talking about building new buildings there, because anytime you're near residential, you have to have setbacks in commercial off of those residential lots. I think it's 50 feet, and then there's also a sewer line there. You have to be 15 feet off the center line of that sewer line. So you don't have any room to build any new buildings there. You know, it's not, it's just physically impossible. I did add those proffers just for peace of mind, but it's, you know, you're not gonna build any big buildings there or anything like that because of all those setbacks. So, like I said, in my opinion, you know, for it already being a commercially zoned property, this is the most low-density use I could imagine possible. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions about it, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody here to speak in favor of this petition? All right. Anybody here to speak in opposition? Okay, if you would please come forward, state your name, and again, sign in. Oh, yeah, there was a 3-minute limit on support or opposition speakers, so.
I'm Roy Templeton. I live at 4831 Tyriana Road. And this proposal for this zoning, nobody would want this stuff sitting in front of their homes. It's visible from my house. I don't see the practical part of it when you can't even get to this lot from where these buildings are sitting. You have to go to Concord Turnpike to even get to it. Because this is not an entrance, this is only an exit coming off of Tyriana Road. And for advertising, you can put up a billboard there and can't nobody read it with the traffic going by there at 60 miles an hour. You can't read any advertising that's out there. It's just not a practical place to put it. It's just an eyesore for the neighborhood. And we're trying to do all we can do to get our neighborhood back up to looking good, and this just does not do anything for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak in opposition? Okay, please come forward, state your name, and sign in.
My name is Wanda Womack. I live at 271 Rockwell Road. I agree with everything Roy Templeton said. This is an entrance here. I mean, this is an exit here. This is not an entrance. I've already had one woman try to come in this entrance when I was trying to come out to look at these things. And that's not good. You got cars running 70, it's 55 through there. But you got them running 70 miles an hour. When they come over this hill right here, those tractor trailers, you better be gunning it because it's not a whole lot of stopping room. So to have something sitting there like that, I'm telling you, it's not good. Not good. You got these people taking their eyes off of a road when they're running 70 miles an hour. No. It's not good. That is not the place for those sheds. And number two, that is residential. That is not commercial in there. And they don't need to be there. In fact, I called about them several weeks after they were put there, and I thought this would go on long before this. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you. Any others to speak in opposition? Okay, have there been any emails about this?
was an email that was provided to the commission. We typically, we don't read those at public hearings anymore, but that will be included in the record,
Okay, great.
and that person was opposed.
Okay. Well, if you would like to come up and address some of these issues, we will give you time to do that before we close the public hearing.
So with the residential area behind it, on the site plan, we are putting in a vegetative barrier there. So it's actually going to be planted trees there where they're not going to be able to, that'll be a barrier between the sheds and the homes. And then I guess the other concern with somebody making a right-hand turn, it's not open to the public here, so it's, shouldn't be anybody, if somebody was to drive by there, they'd have to go the same way everybody else enters that neighborhood, which is down in the Concord Turnpike. It shouldn't be anybody making a right-hand turn off of 460, for any reason. So, but yeah, there's no business conducted on the property. There's no daily traffic going in there or anything like that. We are putting in the vegetative barrier. And any other concerns?
Well, I think, we might have a couple questions before you sit.
Okay, sure.
Anybody have any questions? Oh, yeah, we can go ahead and close the public hearing because we're going to move on to the questions. I was questioning the signage.
Well, the signage is actually, in the B3, that you're allowed 4 foot by 8 foot signs. So we sent in an application for a 4 foot by 8 foot sign, one per street frontage. And it's actually, you can see them on the side of the building there. It's actually just a 4 foot by 8 foot sign on the side of the building. There's nothing,
Oh, I see.
There's, you still have to go within the square footage of the regulations there. So it's not even a freestanding sign. It's not even anything. It's just on the side of the building is all.
Okay, great, thanks. Anybody else have any questions?
I've got comments, but not questions per se.
Okay, well, we can then deliberate. If you want to have a seat,
Sure.
and then we're going to deliberate.
Just real quick, I'm sorry. Is this do you own any other land adjacent to this?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for Rachel. Is there a requirements document or any kind of requirements for the gateway that specify what we do allow and don't allow for gateway areas?
No, so there's no, not necessarily a gateway, like zoning overlay or anything like that. Although there is a limitation on billboards near gateways. The billboard that is there, I believe, is non-conforming. That was a more recent requirement. But I included the information about gateways because the comprehensive plan and the neighborhood plan do specifically call out that goal of building welcoming and attractive gateways, and that's something for the commission and council to consider when land use changes are proposed near them. So there's no right or wrong for a gateway. I think it's more of a judgment when you're making your recommendation to council. Is this appropriate for an entry point, a gateway into the city?
So what would be allowed with billboard, given that you mentioned it would not be conforming because of the gateway? But
So the billboard that is currently on the adjoining, actually, I don't know if I have a good picture of it. It's across, yeah. It's hard to make out there, but it's across, I guess that's where Rockwell comes in. That's not really relevant to the petition here.
So everything on this parcel would be removed then,
If,
if we recommended denial or the city council approved, went with the denial. You couldn't leave any of the, he mentioned a 4x8 sign, none of that. It looks like
no, because, no, because the use is not permitted by the B5. Yeah.
But there is signage permitted in the B3. He could have a 4x8 sign in the B3 and leave that.
So the purpose of the petition is to allow what is there to stay. The shed advertising business, that,
I'm more asking if it didn't work out, what can the land be used for?
it would be a permitted B3 use.
Okay. Just the
Although,
sign.
I mean, as Mr. Wallace said, setbacks and buffering would apply, so that does
Right,
limit it somewhat, but a smaller,
yeah, right,
a smaller commercial use permitted by the B3 district could feasibly go in.
right.
And Rachel, you said earlier, if we have the sheds here like we have now, that sets a precedent for cars or heavy equipment or anything else. Is that
Yeah, I
is
mean,
that the
if
city's interpretation of that?
the zoning administrator's interpretation is that they can use this location for an advertising location for a business permitted by B5.
Yeah.
So my mind goes to what else is permitted by B5, and if sheds are the visibility advertising, can someone else set other merchandise like heavy equipment or lumber?
Sure.
You know, stack of lumber, stone, used auto, you know, by that logic, I believe
Yeah.
it could.
Yeah, I mean, like would a landscape supply store, could that go there if it were B5 or?
I know that lumber yards could, I believe landscaping could. Yeah, while I'm looking, if you want to continue your discussion.
I would like you to comment. I took the opportunity to visit the residents that live on this street. Some of the residents live on it, and none of the ones that spoke today. But the general comments that came back to me was currently it's an eyesore with the sheds there. Is there a limit to the number of sheds that could be displayed?
Landscape supply.
And then, of course, if you use it for advertising, when you're buying a high-ticket item of a shed, you need to park and go and look at them. If you're going to spend $5,000 there to buy a shed, which I bought one down on 29 South, but I wouldn't be inclined to pass by and look at it there and without stopping. And there is no parking per se on that street. Maybe you could go up to that church that was built maybe 10 years ago, but that is cordoned off. Another comment there, parking. Another thing that is a concern there with the residents that were brought up to me when I talked to some of the residents there is what's to prevent, and hopefully we don't have any hurricanes or bad storms, but the units are not secured to the ground, that they would blow right into their homes. They've got some nice homes, right there on Rockwell Street. And another comment there, that one of the long-term residents there made, he said he had considered buying that property, he and another resident, and donating the property to the city of Lynchburg. I don't know whether he ever pursued that or not, but there are just some concerns that I had by actually going and visiting the property there. And then I did have one resident on that street that said he didn't care what happened on the street there as far as this .26 tenths of an acre there. But I'm inclined to go with the feeling I get from the residents that live in that area and that I talked to, and also the residents that spoke today too.
Just to follow up on Commissioner Cox's question, yes, that would be permitted. If this were zoned B5, it could be used for something like that.
Thank you, Rachel.
The landscape supply.
Yeah, I think, having been doing this for a little while, and I remember we did the Tyriana plan, and I'm, kind of torn because I understand the investment in the land, the very limited use, but I also know that this is a place that the city has really worked hard to bring back to something that is friendly residentially. And you know, we're called on to look at how land is used, and we make plans, and I would also tend to want to follow that directive and support, you know, not support this proposal because of that.
For what it's worth, I agree. I'm grounding my decision on the fact that the Tyriana and the Pleasant Valley neighborhood plan was adopted. It aligns with the comprehensive plan, which mostly is grounded in the idea of building strong neighborhoods and enhancing attractiveness of our gateways. I appreciate the creativity in trying to make the best use of this land that you can, but I'm also inclined to decline. Any other comment?
There's some nice, if you've been in LA, there's some nice new homes that have been built right on that road. Beautiful homes, right as you intersect with Concord Turnpike. I think there's 3 of them there now. Brand new homes, beautiful.
Well, and there was just a public meeting for the neighborhood plan the other day, and it wasn't addressing this, obviously, but a lot of the general comments, I think, reflected the nature of what you are passing along about trying to preserve it a little bit more and keeping it looking good. So,
Yeah, I would just add, you know, my thoughts are aligned with the city, just with that being a gateway to our community and first impression, so to speak. You know, I can certainly appreciate the residential perspective that's been brought here and communicated to us as well. I base my decisions on that, so.
I'll make a motion to decline the petition.
All right, a second. Okay, any other comments before we vote? All right, we're going to vote on denying the petitions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, is unanimous. I appreciate you bringing this to us, Mr. Wallace. I encourage you to go back. The city council will hear this, and they don't always agree with us, but you know, like I said, we focus on land use only, and then the city elected officials are the ones who make the decisions that are binding. So thank you for coming today, and thank you, residents, for showing up. All right, we don't have another agenda item, so was there anything before we adjourn?
Nope, your next meeting should be December 10th.
Okay, great. Any questions or any motions? Motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Any? Okay, any opposition? All right. Have a good day. Thank you.